Hi everybody, I'm Lisa Buxbaum, CEO and founder of Soaring Words. Soaring Words is a nonprofit organization devoted to helping millions of ill children and families to never give up. Today we're at a private VIP tour of infinite variety, 3 centuries of red and white quilts, brought to you by the American Folk Art Museum here in New York City. The 650 red and white quilts were made in the 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s. This is the largest assemblage of quilts in the world, and we're thrilled that you're here to join us on this very special tour. One of the reasons we're so excited to share this special exhibit with each one of you is that one of our most popular activities at Soaring Words is the decoration of soaring quilts with inspirational messages and artwork. And we donate these quilts and pillows to hospitalized children all around the country and all around the world. Let's talk about why all of these quilts are red and white. First of all, red and white make a very sharp contrast. And these 2 colors look great next to each other. So it really makes each color pop from the quilt design, creating shapes and patterns that really hold your attention and move with a lot of energy throughout the quilt. The second reason is more scientific. In the old days, red and blue and all the colors of the rainbow would fade. So in 1750, Turkey red dye was invented in the Mediterranean, and at first it came to Europe and then it came to America. And as you can see from the beautiful reds and whites here, these colors, even though these quilts are 300 years old, the colors are as bold and bright as if they were just made yesterday. The bed coverings that we're going to see today, the 650 quilts, are as unique and individual as the quilters who made them. Now, making quilts was something very fun and social for these women. They would cut up all these bits of scraps after they had finished making clothes for the entire family. And the women would come together in quilting circles or quilting bees to talk with their friends and to spend the hours sewing and making beautiful quilts for their families. What do you think about when you think of stars?
I think of the night sky.
Excellent. Yeah.
I think of travelers in the land and then sea looking up in the sky and looking at the stars.
Excellent. So we look up to the stars, the twinkling, shimmering, beautiful stars. This quilt was made in 1917, and the one over there with the stars and the heart was made in the late 1700s. 1776, America. Can anyone think about why stars would be a popular quilt design in that year? Yes?
I think because our flag is made out of stars.
That's exactly right. The original flag has 13 5-pointed stars and 13 stripes for the 13 colonies. In 1816, the kaleidoscope was invented. This newfangled invention inspired quilters to create 8-pointed stars where you have little diamonds of refracted shapes and sizes. As you can see, there starts to have an energy all around the quilt, inspired by the kaleidoscope. You can see all of the refracted shapes and the geometric patterns, and there's a lot of movement and motion. You can see the circle. Does everyone see the circle? There's circles, and then there's squares, and then there's diamonds and triangles in the squares. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Is anyone getting dizzy?
A little bit.
Kind of.
Yeah, I am too. Is this a static quilt, or is there a lot of movement and motion?
A lot of movement.
Yes. What about this one? What about here?
Movement.
So you can almost see the wheels and the cogs turning, right?
Yes.
Why do you think that the sun is a popular motif for quilts? When you say that someone has a sunny disposition, what does that mean?
I think it's when somebody is bright, happy, and cheerful.
Yes, someone who's bright and happy and cheerful. If you've ever walked on the beach and had the sun shining on your face, or when it's a beautiful day, how many of you enjoy having the sun, being in the sun? Yes, so in the olden times, people really lived closer to the land and closer to the sun. Their lives actually revolved around the sun. Children and parents would get up very early in the morning to do their chores, and then they would walk several hours, several miles to go to school. So really their lives revolved around the sun. and they didn't have electricity. So at the end of the day, their homes were lit by candlelight or fireplace. But then when it got very dark, it was time to go to sleep because they had to get a good night's sleep to start the routine all over again. Sunlight also makes plants grow. Why do you think that animals are a popular theme on the quilts?
People were farmers and they had a lot of animals on their farm.
Excellent. What animals do you see that a typical American family would have seen in their farm?
A squirrel, a turkey, a bunny rabbit, a donkey.
Stories from exotic places were syndicated in local newspapers. Just when the readers got to the good part, the really exciting part, the story would stop. This would encourage people to buy the newspaper the next week to read about what happens next in the story. That's how all of these exotic animals got onto these quilts. Yes?
Tiger, camel, a rhinoceros.
Excellent. Everybody loves animals, especially little babies. These are crib quilts. What animals do you see here?
Elephant, giraffes, camel.
And what else do you see here?
The alphabet.
Excellent. So as the babies would get older, they would learn their ABCs and they would enjoy having the animals keep them company. Hundreds of years ago, people lived closer to the land. We've already talked about the sun and stars and animals. Now we're going to move closer to Earth and talk about nature. Can anyone guess what part of nature inspired this beautiful quilt?
It reminds me of trees.
Excellent. When you think about trees, what do you think about?
Strength, stability,
Growth. Leaves.
Nature has a calming influence on us. It can elevate our mood and remind us of how special every day can be. What do we have here?
Maple leaves.
Why do you think flowers were a fabulous theme for quilts?
Because it's part of our nature. Most people think flowers are beautiful.
What else in the olden times?
Because it was very, very cold and very depressing.
Right, they didn't have electricity, so in the winter it was brutally cold.
The flowers remind them that spring was coming.
Does everyone remember when you were in kindergarten or the lower grades and you would take a piece of paper and fold it in half and cut out a symmetrical pattern?
Yes.
So there's a quilt in this section where the quilters from Pennsylvania Dutch country use that same technique. Can anyone find the quilt and tell us what it is?
snowflakes.
Yes. After the tour, the Soaring Words group decorated soaring quilts with inspirational messages and artwork inspired by the glorious quilts we saw in the museum exhibit.
The one I did was You're a Star, because for me you are a star and I want you to be proud of yourselves.
I did the pig, and the reason I chose the pig was because when it snorks it makes you laugh, and every kid likes to laugh, especially little kids in the hospital.
I drew a butterfly and a waterfall, and what inspired me is that butterflies are beautiful and there's different kinds, and with waterfalls they're very relaxing.
I drew a big sun with a smile on his face to put a bright smile on the kids.
Patients at Beth Israel Hospital loved getting our special soaring quilts filled with inspirational messages and artwork inspired by the Infinite Variety Museum exhibit. I hope you will order a soaring quilt and pillow today or make a donation so that we can share more love and encouragement with hospitalized kids. Please visit the website to see all of the fun activities and art projects you can do to inspire ill children to never give up. Soaring Words is the power to heal.